Alright, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So, good morning, good afternoon, and good night for all students for the introduction of government science. So, today we will meet again with another materials that I will tell to you, I will explain to you. So in previous materials, we learn about the state, we learn about the government system, and then we learn about the last meeting, we learn about the function of the state, the function of institution of state. Why state have the important function to develop, to building the state, and then what the role of state institution to help the state to run the development of state in terms of government. So today we try to uh, discuss, or I will explain to you about the state government comparison. So before that, here I would like to know you why we should compare something, why we should know, and why we should learn about the state comparison. Because if we are talking about the comparison, here I would like to explain you that uh, actually the comparison is reflect on the experience with comparative thinking strategies and explore maybe the research principle and also the basis that make compare and contrast such an effective strategy, and examine a range of maybe like a country that demonstrate comparative thinking and experience a modelism using the compare and contrast study. So it means that I try to engage, I try to invite all students to thinking about the one country and another country in terms of the government system, because we learn about the introduction of government science. So we know not only about the Indonesian case, but also I try to explain you that we have to know about the other countries. So like last week or previous materials, I explained you more the Indonesian, but now I try to invite you, I try to explain to you about the other state. So actually, comparative thinking is one of our first and most natural form of thought. When we are in phase, one of the first differences we must identify is the between mother and other. Without the ability to make comparisons, to set one object or idea against another and take note of similarities and differences, much of what we call learning would literally be impossible. So you may understand about this one, why comparison thinking we should have. And actually, I would like to uh, invite you to strengthening student memorize. I mean, by focusing student thinking and on analyzing pairs of ideas, the compare and contrast or the comparison strategy, or maybe the comparison side strengthens the student ability to remember key content or key point. And then um, the comparative political structure and institution in state of government, actually, you know that institution provide a roadmap of a political system. Although constitution vary from the state to state, they are similar in many ways. Constitution define political leadership, modes of representation, a legal framework, and the limits of a government power, an institution express the collective values and support to security and ability of developing institution. So this means that institution also means the government. And in the unit of comparison, we explore how constitution or institution serve common needs. We consider how their difference reflect the values and the interests of diverse constituents. Like for example, um, legislature may be divided into different types of houses and have different rules for choosing their members. One country another country is different, maybe different name, but still have a similar function, but they typically have the same lawmaking purpose. As I mentioned, um, we often can trade these similarities and differences to specific reasons that allow us to better understanding the culture of society, such as the way a government is organized often reflects the social stratification of the political community in question. So we will try to define, or we will try to make comparison between one country and another country in terms of the government. So first of all, the thing that you have to remember is that why we should compare one country and another country in terms of government or in terms of system of government is because first, in the next semester, I forgot what is the exact semester that you will have, but then in the next semester you will have the subject with the name of comparative government. So this subject or these materials will help you to understand in terms of principle to get to know you all about the state. So basically, comparative studies can help us to understand how different political systems work, what characteristics of the same political system, why certain types of government are stable while other types of government are always unstable. For example, like why in America they implement or they apply the federal state, but in Indonesia we have a unitary state, but in America or in US they still have the stable, for example, government. So what differences between, for example, UK and US or Indonesia and UK? Because Indonesia also have the unitary state and UK also the unitary state. Indonesia have the democratic system, and in Singapore or in Taiwan, in Taiwan, instead, they also have the democratic system. But what is the similarities? What is the differences? We will try to discuss more in this section. So why certain political societies can success, why other cannot solve their various problems it face? Like for example, we face the COVID-19 outbreak, but how government take the role of take the role to maintain or to handle the COVID-19? Why Taiwan or why Singapore success with their policy, but why in Indonesia still cannot solve their problem in terms of COVID-19? So we maybe can discuss more about this. So thus a comparative study of government is the key to understanding one or a number of political system. Because if we don't want to if we want to know with system that suitable, with system that applicable in Indonesia, we should know about others country system to compare, or to maybe to you know, like adopt. For example, like, oh, in UK there is a party, or only two bicameral. So why in Indonesia we cannot use that, or why Indonesia want to try to apply that system, and so and so forth. So we begin with, of course, what do you compare? The first one, yeah, of course, political government system, or political system, or government system, because this needs to be identified in political, in application of a comparison of study, or a country, because the form and the system of government are the main factor in running of country. So if you want to try to compare the economic growth or the social welfare, you should know first about the political system. Maybe the successful of economic growth and also the welfare in a state is because the political system that they run, that they apply. So that's why the political system or the government system is very important before you compare another things. Maybe for example, why education in UK is very strong, is very nice, is very good. Why in Indonesia not? Or why developing country like Indonesia, Myanmar, and maybe Vietnam, why Indonesia is the last number of in terms of education, for example. So the thing that you have to know is about the political system in that country, the government system in that country, what system that they apply. So uh, um if you know about the political system or the government system that they apply, so maybe you can compare other things like education, like social welfare, like economic growth, or and so forth. So that's my point. So that's why in this presentation, I want to share you more about the political or government system. So this one, I'm so sorry this in Bahasa Indonesia, but I try to translate you for instead. So this this is the chart, or this is the picture about the structural system in Indonesia. So the first is before amendment, the constitution, and then in the below one is after amendment of constitution. So you know that the differences is only for MPR, or Majelis Perwakilan Rakyat. And here, if you look at the picture, the difference is only on MPR and also on constitution. So it means that the function or the position of a constitution after amendment is the highest one beside others institution or other state uh, institution. So, and then how about the Indonesia system of government? First, um, form a unitary state with the principle of board regional autonomy, or they have the territory is divided into province. So this meaning is that if you remember about the last two materials about the federalism, about the unitary state, so this first statement, it means that Indonesia still using the pseudo federalism, because they implement or they apply the principle of the unitary state, but also they still have the board of regional autonomy, or they divide into several province. So like, because if you still remember in the federalism, they have several state, and in Indonesia we still have several province or several city. And the form of government is republic, while the system of government is presidential, as we know about the last materials. And then the president is the head of the state and head of government. Yeah, because in presidential system, we know that the president, the function of president is head of state and head of government. The president and vice president are elected directly by the people in one package, or in one election, and cabinet or minister appointed by the president and responsible to the president. So uh, uh, this one, why in Indonesia still cannot implement or apply the Zaken cabinet or the professional cabinet, because sometimes the president have the obligation to give the cake or to give the position with who that support him in the presidential election. And then next one, parliament consists of the two parts, bicameral, the People's Representative Council, and the Regional Representative Council. The member of the council are member of the MPR, and DPR has legislative power and the power of to oversee the running of the government. Yeah, we already talking about this one. So the judicial power is exercised or implemented by the Supreme Court and judiciary under it. So we learned it about the institutional state. And how about the Taiwan? Yeah, because we try to compare with Taiwan. Yeah, because I live here and I try to understand about the dynamic government here. The differences is the first president and vice president of the ROC are directly elected every 4 years. Yeah, in Taiwan have the election on 4 years annually. I mean, like 4 years times, and for Indonesia we have 5 years for the election. And the legislative election in Taiwan, each person vote one vote for the district and one vote for the general election. I mean, like, this also have the same in like in Indonesia, because we elect the president and the vice president, and also the legislative in district or in the province and also in the state. So here the differences between Indonesia. The Taiwan constitution underwent 7 revision. If Indonesia only have 4 revision for the amendment, but in Taiwan they have a 7, and the last revision is 25, that make relevant the current situation or the current state of the country. So one important consequence of this change was uh, ROC government has recognized that its jurisdiction only applied to the areas under its control. Therefore, the president and members of the Republic of China legislators are only elected by the community and accountable to the people in area. So this is the characteristic of the democracy, because people should accountable to the people that they elect. And yeah, so sorry, this is still in bahasa Indonesia, but lima badan pemerintahan, it means that in the government they have five members or five institution in the central government: executive, legislative, and then judicial, and then monitoring, and then assessment. So for the executive, they have to like formulate and also implement the policy. Yeah, I think this one is still same with the definition in the last materials that I gave to you. Like, what is the like executive, what is the legislative, what is the monitoring, and also what is the assessment. It's quite similar. And in Taiwan, they have a level of government. So the central government consists of the president and five main branch that I mentioned before. The regional government currently consists of 6 special regions, 13 districts, and 3 autonomous regions with a hierarchy status of the level of district. So it's like in Indonesia, because we have the district, we have the province, we have the sub district, and then we have city. In Taiwan, also similar like that. And the government of the Republic of China in Taiwan, although the jure does not have sovereignty as a country, but de facto has space as a country recognized by several countries in the world. Because Taiwan is still be one with the Republic of China, not only Taiwan but also Macau and Hong Kong. For the jure, Taiwan is not country, but for the facto, Taiwan is a country. So that's the differences. Taiwan is a unitary state with a democratic system, as I mentioned before, and they have a semi-presidential form of government because, as I mentioned also, as the jure, Taiwan is not a country. Taiwan is a part of China. Taiwan is a part of ROC. That's why they don't implement the presidential as full system, but they apply the semi-presidential because of Taiwan is still under ROC power. And Taiwan government also addressed to a multi-party democracy like Indonesia, because in Indonesia we still have the multi-party. And then yeah, in multi-party system we still have a lot of problems, right? Not because of Taiwan is developed country, and then they don't have a several problem about the multi-party, but yeah, they still have many problem with the multiple or multi-party in democracy. And yeah, we moved to the Singapore. This quite different because first, Singapore is a parliamentary republic with a Westminster unicameral parliamentary system of government representative various constituents. Yeah, because like in Indonesia, we apply bicameral, but in Singapore, they apply the unicameral. And Singapore itself constitution established from representative democracy as the country political system. The reins of executive power are held by the cabinet headed by the prime minister, because in Singapore they have different position of uh, head of government and also the president. The president of Singapore historically a ceremonial position, as I mentioned, was granted veto power in 1991 for several key decisions such as the use of national reserve and appointment of judicial office. So yeah, this kind of the parliament or parliamentary system that president and also the prime minister have different function in the state. Although this office was elected through popular election, but only on 1993 election have been held to date. I mean, like in Singapore, because they apply the country's political system, representative of democracy, the election only one time in 1993. And the legislative branch of government is held by the parliament. And I have what about in United Kingdom? So in United Kingdom or England is known as the mother of originator of parliamentary government system because it was England who made a parliamentary government system that could be implemented successful or properly for the first time. So if you want to learn more about the parliamentary government system, you may see the literature of the England, how they can implement, how they can practice the parliamentary government system that could be proper or that could be suitable, that could be success for the first time and until now. And the United Kingdom is also a unitary state consisting of several states and has a monarchical or royal form of government. So the differences between Indonesia is that the similarity is unitary state, but the differences is Indonesia is a republic country, but in United Kingdom is a monarchy or royal government. So this system gives the community to a right to elect their representative through democratic election in order to be able to overcome social and economic problems in the community so as to create people welfare. So even though they implement the royal government, but they still have the right to elect their representative to democratic election. And the British government is run by the prime minister. Yeah, as I mentioned, you have to remember differences between the parliamentary and also the presidential is about the president function or president role. In a presidential, the role of a president are head of state and also head of government. But in parliamentary system, the president only have the function to be the head of state. For the head of government is assisted by prime minister. And the president or the queen and king of England or UK are only head of the state who function as a symbol of the state. The Parliament of House of Representatives consists of two rooms bicameral, namely the House of Commons and House of Lords. The House of Commons are also known as the lower house representative body of the people, whose members are elected by the people among candidates. It's mean like DPR or Representative Council. And for the House of Lords is High Council is representative contain nobles by inheritance. I mean like because the privilege position. The House of Commons has more power than House of Lords because yeah, because Britain or England implement the parliament sovereignty. It means that very large power within the parliament. Okay, and the England also use a two-party. Yeah, this one has a story. If you know about the bourgeois people and also the proletariat party or people, so I think you will know about this kind of the Labor Party and also the Conservative Party. So the beneficial or the um, advantage for the two party is if the one party as the winner of election, of course the other parties that uh, lose of the election will become the opposition party. Opposition means that the party should give the alert of should give the suggestion to the government if the government yeah, like for example have another have have the like the system that run by government is not a demand from the society or from the citizens. And Britain, as a unitary state, apply a decentralization system. It's similar with Indonesia, right? The political of the power of local government lies in the council, which is elected by the people in the region. And how about the U.S.? United States maybe it's different between uh, previous countries that I mentioned, Indonesia, Taiwan, Singapore, UK, because yeah, United States is a federal republic with the capital in Washington DC, which has 50 states. Meanwhile, the government system adopted the presidential government. It means that the head of state and head of government is same. That's assisted by the president. There is a clear separation of the power between the legislative, executive, and judiciary called separation of power theory. That's um, uh, said by Montesquieu that we already learned last week, which distinguish power in country which is separated into three branches of power: executive, judicative, and also legislative. The United States operates a two-party system as common. There are only two dominant parties in the United States, namely Republicans and Democrats until now. Okay, this one is about the election. I think it's quite different between Indonesia or other country because election in America use a district system. The system is based on the location of the constituents, not by population. Of all the candidates, there will be one winner. That why areas that are sparsely populated have the same representative as areas with large population. So in election system in USA, the choice of the people does not absolutely determine the victory of a presidential candidate because the implementation of the election for presidential and vice presidential candidates, the United States used the Electoral College. What is the Electoral College? It means that Electoral College is a board of electors that will elect the presidents. Its members are elected by the people on election day. The envoys had promised in advance to select a particular candidate. So that's all the comparison between one country and other countries because yeah, it's impossible if I compare all country in the world. So your discussion or your task will be, how do other system of government compare? So I mean, like, your task or your assignment is that you have to try to compare two countries with different system or maybe similar system. For example, like, you want to compare between Thailand as a monarchy system and also Vietnam, for example, or maybe India and United Arab Emirates. It's depend on you what you want to compare, and then try to compare how the state works, and then how the system that they apply, and then how the election, or how they run the government, and so forth. So maybe you can make the table. You make in one table, and then you try to compare. For example, you have to take two countries, and then you compare one another. No need much more countries, like for example 5 until 10 or 4 or until 6. No need. You just compare two countries, and then try to explain detail what the comparison, or what the similarities between one country and other countries. So I think that's the important thing that I have to explain to you. And then, yeah, like, the the important to know this subject, or to know these materials in terms of system of government. You will know about the how one country run the government. For example, like, why Indonesia should implement or should apply the unitary state, why not apply the federal state instead? And then, why Thailand have the monarchy, and now they have demonstration about the against with the king of the Thailand. Yeah, you can compare anything, but I suggest you to make the comparison in terms of the system of government. You also can compare with education. Maybe you can compare about the economic growth. You can compare with the welfare, but I suggest you that you can compare more detail, more explicit to the government system, because we try to know what the system of government that they run. Maybe it can be our learn, and it can be adapted in one country, maybe in Indonesia, or maybe in other countries. So that's all my presentation. Maybe if you have still any question about this subject, feel free to contact me, uh, both of in group or in personal chat. I will be happy, and I will welcome you to ask more about this materials. So I think that's all. Hopefully you all guys still in health condition, and then, yeah, you still focus on your study even this pandemic, and then we cannot make the offline course, and then meet in class, and then try to know one and others. But hopefully you always be okay. Thank you very much, and see you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.